What's up, everybody? My name is Nick. I am joined again by my co-host Matt, and we're on to episode 7. I don't know why I don't write this down. Episode 7
You do
of
this
For
way or
Better.
this way?
No, God,
What,
no.
are you one of these
Thank
guys?
God, guys. Thank God. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music, you're you're honestly doing better because, yeah, just looking at Matt's face every day, I lose hope in society as a whole. Getting past that, it's episode 7 of For Better or Worse. Um, Big episode today. I'm going to talk about some betting terms, betting styles, uh, questions from you guys that you DM'd yesterday. Try to, improve your game, answer some questions, and obviously we'll go over some MLB and NBA. And I think you had a play, but really going to be focused on, trying to help yourself as far as your betting styles and questions and all that crap. So, Matt, are you excited? I mean, anything you want to add to that? Am I missing anything?
Yeah. I'm pretty upset with the NBA as an organization for not having any games today. But besides that, got a couple MLB games, a couple hockey games, may have some plays later on when stuff opens up, but more excited to answer some questions that I know a lot of our followers and listeners have been asking. So it should be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay with the NBA not being on. It's been hell for me. I'm tired of it. Nonetheless, we go through a recap of yesterday. If you want to do that real quick, knock it out. I mean, it's pretty easy. Heat and the Suns dominated. I mean, there you go. Recap.
James Harden had 16 at half and still finished underneath his 23 and a half points.
Yeah, I told you, dude. We talked about this yesterday. He is just, I don't know.
Yeah.
You can make the strip club jug. I mean, there's got to be a great strip club there or something. He just sucks recently.
There's got to be a reason why he wanted to leave Brooklyn to go to Philly and it's obviously not to play basketball. So maybe he just loves cheesesteaks or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just not good. But, it is what it is. Heat look really good. And then obviously the Suns really turned it on in the second half and really the fourth quarter. They just completely dominated and pulled away all together. But yeah, let's get past that. Betting baseball terms. Let's get right into it. Let's just ride it off. A lot of people were asking about like going over terms. I know there were questions yesterday as far as like first 5 result versus first 5 run line versus first 5 money line. I mean, first 5 result and first 5 money line seem like the same thing, but they're not. So first 5 money line, you do have the ability to push. So if there's a 0-0 tie, 1-1 tie, whatever sort of tie, it just voids the bet whatsoever. The first 5 result, you have to win, but you're able to do parlays with them. So that's something that we talked about yesterday with the Yankees, even though they're awful. The world is back to normal. I hate the Mets again. I hate the Yankees again. All is, reset in the world. So first 5 result and first 5 run line are basically the same thing because you have to win. And the run line's usually minus 0.5 for the first 5 innings. And that's what first 5 means, just so you guys know as well. Not to completely butcher this, but over under, there's a set line. It's usually, a whole number or a 0.5. 0.5, there's not going to be a push. With a 7, 8, 9 whole number like that, you can end on 7, end on 8, end on 9, and have a push and void your money and get your money back. Total bases, guys. Total bases. This is something that a lot of people ask about as well. Singles, doubles, triples, home runs all count for total bases. Walks, errors, fielder's choice, stolen bases, all don't count. All don't count. So, Matt, why don't you go through a couple and then.
Yeah. Another thing, another question I get every day with a new follower is if he walked or if he hit a single and then someone else hits it and he moves to second, or
No.
third. That does not count. That does not count. It's whatever comes off his bat. That's not an error of fielder's choice. Okay. Nick basically
Yeah.
summed it up. I just wanted to make that known because I get that question every day. I know it's tough, especially if you're not a baseball person or baseball fan or have been or know the game. I know it's hard to understand. So try to make this as easy as possible for you. Another question I used to get a lot was, what do Ks mean? When I'm trying to fit something in a tweet with 160 characters or less, I'm not going to write the entire word strikeouts. And that's what that means. Strikeouts and Ks are the same thing. So if I say, you know, DeGrom over 6.5 Ks, that's 6.5 strikeouts. So when he's pitching, that means he's got to strike out 7 guys if it's over 6.5. You're never going to have an even number there. You're never going to push unless you do one of those FanDuel. No, I think the FanDuel ones are 6+, so you're not going to push. There's no pushing on the strikeouts. Either you win or you lose. And Ks mean strikeouts. Okay. If you see a backwards K during the game and you're like, oh, what's that? That means he struck out looking. It means he struck out and he did not swing the bat, but the ball is in the strike zone. So that's where you'll see a backwards K. If you're watching the game and you're like, oh, why is that one backwards? Just to let you know. Going to ISO, this is a big stat for total bases. It's one that I use regularly, and I've been seeing a lot of other people use regularly because it basically weighs extra base hits more heavily to give an idea of the hitter's raw power. Because in baseball, if you're batting 300 or more, you're a great hitter, but you could also be not a power hitter and you could be hitting singles every time you get up. And I'm not going to bet a guy to go 2 for 4 with 2 singles. That's a lot harder than going 1 for 4 with 1 double. So the reason why you see a lot of the same guys is because there's 2 or 3 real targets that I like on each team to hit their total bases. Whichever one has a good matchup is what I'll do. So like Devers, he's a power hitter. I know he can hit a double. Vlad Jr. can hit a double. Mike Trout can hit a double, home run. All I really need is them to go 1 for 4 with a double. So the ISO really helps you determine who hits more extra base hits, like doubles, triples, home runs, to make it way more than if it was just a single. So that's really where that comes in. I don't see any other way you'd want to use ISO besides just how somebody does versus a certain pitch, how hard he hits it, and how much it goes towards an extra base hit. Hopefully I summed that up very well. I know it's very hard to understand, but it basically just stands for isolated power, if I didn't say that already. So that's what that means. Again, we're trying to fit this stuff into a 160 characters or less thing. So if we have to write all that out, there's nothing else for us to write. That's basically it. I think that's basically it for the baseball betting terms. I don't know if we missed anything, Nick.
No, I mean, it's just a quick rundown for people to kind of get a better understanding of when we're talking about stuff or their own questions.
I forgot one. So FanDuel doesn't really have this for first 5, but if I write TT, that means team total. If it's first 5 TT, that means it's their first 5 team total. So just like that first 5 result or money line that Nick was talking about, instead of them having to win, they just have to score a certain amount of runs in that first 5 innings. So usually it's 1.5 if you're the underdog and it's a low total, or 2.5. So if you bet the Cardinals yesterday, I said they're going to have 3+ runs early. I picked the money line. I felt it was safer, but they had 3 runs before the first 5 innings. So that would have cashed too. There's a lot of different angles you can do. And even like the full game team total, which would be like 4.5, 5.5, you could do those as well. But if you're going to target a starting pitcher, I usually recommend the first 5 total because he's probably pitching those first 5 innings before you have to deal with a good or bad bullpen. And again, if they have a bad bullpen, maybe you target the full game. But this is why me and Nick are here to help you guys with all those numbers. We just want you to know what TT means. And that's team total. Again, F5 means first 5. Put them together. That's F5 team total. So the amount of runs you have to score before the end of the 5th inning or at the end of the 5th inning.
Yeah, no, most definitely. I think that should help out some people if they didn't fall asleep because your boring voice. Nonetheless, we'll move on. different. I know we talked about different betting styles, and I know Matt's got something to say. I look, I haven't been putting out units for a while. Because bankroll management is something that I'm still learning every day. First of all, if you're not learning something every day while gambling, learning from your losses and wins and whatever, then if you think you know it all, then just stop gambling, because you don't. Seriously, just like with anything in life, you should always be learning. Nonetheless, I mean, I used to be crazy. Obviously, I'm still crazy, but I used to do parlays and all this stuff and just go crazy. But I used to do, like, say I put in $500 on my most confident bet. If it was early, win, cash out that 500, and then use house money. And that would be like my strategy. Not the worst strategy in the world, but obviously if I lost that first bet, then, it's like, okay, what do I do now? And then I recycled that money. But seriously, you guys should learn about units, and bankroll management. There's a lot of good articles online. I would just Google bankroll management, sports betting, and just read up. It takes a while to go in depth about how that works, and how you can figure out your unit size and this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, if you're betting with money that you can't afford to lose, then you're doing it wrong. That's it. So that at the end of the day, if you can afford to lose the money, then it's not the worst betting style. I mean, it might be, but that's the number one key. Don't bet with money you can't lose. Period. I get messages about people like, I gotta pay car bills. I'm like, dude, stop betting. Stop. There is no. I don't have a 10-leg parlay for you to make $10,000 and pay off your bills. I don't have it. It's also
it's such a guilt trip too. It's like I need to pay for this. Do you have a 14-leg parlay hit this? Now if I don't hit it, I know you're not paying for that. It's like
you're actually deeper in the hole. Honestly, it's starting to piss me off because a lot of, I give away my own money, and we give away our own money all the time and try to help people out and make it fun. And, we don't charge anything, but then I get these people like, hey, can I get $20? Can I get $30? I'm like, dude, stop. Like, don't message me with that. Honestly, I'm makes me want to start blocking people, but that's a whole nother situation, to be honest. But getting back to betting styles, I mean, there's a bunch of different ways. Matt, I know you had something to say about it. Once you dive into your part.
I've wanted to say this for a while. There's a lot of guys on Twitter, YouTube, who get so angry at parlays. I'm not saying I hate parlays. I love a good parlay. Trust me. They're like, oh, but you'll never, blah, blah, blah. Listen, some people aren't trying to be professional gamblers. I know most people aren't trying to be professional gamblers. The point is, like Nick said, if you can afford to lose that money, you're like, oh, damn, I lost that $40, just trying to go big. Oh, well. That's how it should be. Not like, shit, I really need to get $40 now, and I got to scramble because I can't pay my car bill or for my groceries this week. If that's where you're at, do not gamble. I mean, that's just a hole you don't want to get involved in. But that being said, if you want to be consistent, you want to make money long term, I would do as little parlays as possible, because it's hard enough to beat the books. Nick and I have been doing very well. We put a lot of energy and time in. If you don't have the energy and time in, and you want to just listen to your set of people, at the end of the day, I would try to do some of your own research, but also rely on everyone like us who does a lot of their research. But don't go crazy. Find your unit size that's safe. Build that bankroll. I think they teach you, like, if you have $1,000 in your bank account, that $10 should be your unit. I don't necessarily agree with that, because no one really has $1,000 to put in the account. I'm saying the average person, and then only bet $10. I mean, that's how you're supposed to do it. If you could do that, that's fine. But I understand if you have like $250 in your account and want to do $10 and do that. I get that too, because I don't think you're going to lose $250 in one day betting $10. Hopefully, you're not betting 25 plays a day either.
Yeah,
like that's. Listen, everyone has their style. Some people bet 20 plays a day. You see a Twitter sheet of 12 greens and 8 X's. That's not my style, because I know you're probably not just putting $5 on everything I just said. Odds are you probably chose your favorites and hopefully they hit or they miss. I'm a style where I do 3 plays, 4 plays max. I know you're going to put your money on it, and it's going to be hopefully good enough odds to where you could slowly keep building up. You know, it's a slow grind if you want to make money consistently. But if you don't want to make money consistently and you're like, hey, I want to put $20 in this week, see what I can turn it into. If I lose it, I don't care. By all means, do that if you could afford to do that. Like, I don't really have if you can afford to lose that money, have fun. It's a fun hobby. I hate people who make it like, oh, you didn't win this. Listen, if you win $4 and you're happy with it, congratulations, you won $4. No one should put you down for that. You know, there's people on Twitter, like McBets or MC Bets. He puts, you know, $1 to win $1 million.
Absolutely.
He's not gonna win every day. You know, all you need to do is win one time and you're putting $1 on it. You know, if you can afford to put $1 on it, who cares? It's fun. It gives you something to root for that night. And by all means, have at it. You know, if someone's telling you to put $1 million on something like that, please don't follow them. But there's different ways. You know, what's the phrase? There's many ways to skin a cat. Sorry, Nick, with your cats there. But it's however you want to do it, you can do it. You can put $100 on a bet, $50, whatever you're comfortable with. You know, if you want to do bankroll management, that's fine. But as long as it's money you can afford to lose, by all means, just have fun. That's what this is supposed to be.
Yeah. So, I mean, a couple things, right? So, I agree everything that you said there. And we'll get into this more because some of the questions, you know, kind of go over this, but it's all about, you know, really if you want to try to be a long-term gambler and winner, that's the key, is being a long-term winner, because you can have good days and bad days, but you know, at the end of the year, are you positive or negative? If you're actually serious about it. If you had fun, that's great. You know, that's all that really matters, as long as you're having fun. Yeah. It makes baseball watchable in my mind. So, and some other things as well. But yeah, I mean, as long as you're having fun, that's really all that matters at the end of the day. And you're not going broke. It's not going broke either.
Like if you could win money from this, that's absolutely awesome. But listen, like who just won MVP? Embiid, or he's going to win MVP probably. Sure. He's you know, over the course of a season is severely positive, but there's nights he really just shits the bed and goes 1 for 12. You know, that's going to happen where you're gonna hit some spots. You're gonna face a good defense and to be like, this one stings my gut a little bit. But you know, your goal is to finish the season positive, which you know, if you don't chase, like if you go 0-3 and there's one game left, please do not put 3 games worth on that last one.
I think we'll get into that soon. We got a lot of questions from you guys when we put out that tweet yesterday asking for them. I'll go into a couple, and then Matt, you can tackle a couple. And you know, it's really how do you stay disciplined? Because I know this is kind of relevant as to what we were just talking about. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Period. You know, don't chase your wins, don't chase your losses. I used to do this all the time, like all the time. It's degenerate in me, and that's why I have my betting style is I always keep my account. I bet my bets and I keep my account empty. So that way if I bet, I have to physically deposit more money in. I have to think about it. I mean, I'm pretty quick at depositing, but I do have to think about it just for half a second at the very least, to be like, okay, do I really want to put more money in to make this live bet or this bet? And that way I'm not chasing my wins or my losses either way, because, you know, yes, you could make a great night, like, you know, life-changing if you're betting that money, but you could also
make it life-changing in a bad way.
Yeah. You could also, you know, lose your whole bankroll, double down. So yeah. Don't just walk away, learn to have FOMO. And that's another thing that it brings me back to, I know you were just talking about guys I have this problem too. I have FOMO from plays, and I'm trying to be better about discipline, about having like narrowing it down to like 5 or 6 plays a day. because you minimize your overexposure from certain guys if you're like double betting a team or a player. And it can really make, even like with laddering, which we'll go over soon, you have to be cautious about that too, because you can really start to lose units if it doesn't go your way. Now obviously you can really just multiply everything if it goes the right way. But yeah, sorry, I'm getting all twisted up, but it's all good.
Yeah, I mean, don't go heavy on parlays to stay disciplined too, right? Like if we bet, if I go 3 plays on the day, right, and I go 2 and 1 and I make money, if I did 6 different parlays and because that one lost and it was in most of my parlays, I'm now negative on the day when I could have been positive had I not done the parlays. I'm not saying don't do parlays, but don't have so many, or don't make them worth so much money.
Yeah, and there's another thing as well. Something I learned by doing parlays is even if it's your most confident bet, make sure you don't have overexposure. So like if I have 6 parlays and there's Mets money, there's Mets money line in every single parlay and they lose like yesterday, I just lost in all the parlays, every single parlay. So it just, make sure if it's your favorite, put them in 3 or 4 at the most. I mean, even then I don't like doing it, but that's something where you can really make a bet. Like, even if it's your most confident, it's a lock, whatever you want to call it. It can really ruin your day. Real easy. But yeah, I know some people are asking about units and how much to put on parlays. And we mentioned that a second ago, as far as, reading that and looking over it, but I know you had something written down for that if you want to go to that. No.
I mean, someone said, how do you decide your unit? How much do you put on parlays? I think it's, again, preference here. I said the $1,000 in your bank account, $10 unit. At the end of the day, if you have $500 in your account and you put $20 units, that's totally fine for me. It's there's like a textbook way to do it, but I don't really do things textbook. I can do it close. But that's kind of where I would be. Cause again, I don't put 10 plays out. If you're going to put 10 plays out or bet 10, 15 plays a day, maybe you do $10 a play with a higher number in there to account for that. But I usually have, whatever, like, you'll get to the higher bets. I know most people are like $10, $15 unit bettors, which is, how you start out. That's how I started out. $5, $10. Went too crazy on parlays thinking I was going to be some magic man. Learned real fast. It wasn't the case, but it was fun. I was able to, it was fun that I was able to afford to lose that. So it wasn't too bad, but when I got serious about it, I'd say $500 in your account and $10, $20 units is what I would do. And then parlays wise, I usually do like 1/10 of my unit. I realize if you're betting $10, you don't really want to put $1 on a parlay, but I do $100 units. So I'll do $10 on a parlay. If you do $20 and you do like a $5 parlay, I think that's fine too. I just don't want them too close. If you're betting $100 bets, please do not have $100 parlay, because that's just going to make you so negative unless your parlay hits. You know what I'm saying? Like, make it so where if you go 3-1 or 3-2, you're still somewhat positive if that small parlay loses. Still makes your night fun. So you can root for something crazy to happen. But, it's about every day being positive, right? Everyday consistency. So that's kind of my metric. If you're a $50 unit better, I would still do maybe $5, $10 on parlays. Just don't do too many of them. That's kind of my thing. That's how I decide it. I don't know if you have anything different, but that's kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I had you talk about this. Don't listen to me. I do so my units, first of all, my unit size is always moving around, whatever. But I'm keeping it around 200, 250 at this point. But I'll do $100 on a parlay. Just a bad strategy, but I still haven't learned. I'm hard headed.
If you're up a lot and you want to do that one day, by all means, have fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about minimizing. I mean, obviously, winning's nice, but it's also about minimizing your losses. So, like, again, if you really talk about going 3-1, sure, you minimize your win. But if you go 1-3, then you're really in the shitter. Because you've lost zero point 0.5 units on that too, and it really goes down overall.
Yeah.
But yeah, someone asked about. I always wonder whether it's better to play two singles at minus 150 or to place both in a parlay. And I think we both agree here. It's personally, it's just preference on my end, and Matt's as well. But I'm sure there's an actual technical answer. But that's our answer. It's preference. I think it's up to you as to how you want to tackle it. Maybe put a unit on both and like point one on a parlay. I don't know.
Yeah, 0.25 on two-teamer. For me, if I have more money in my account, if I'm up more, I'll probably do two heavier singles just because I could afford to. But if you want to try to get the value and you have a little money to work with, that's not a bad parlay there because it's two-teamer, decent odds, and if you win, you get a nice little chunk of change. But again, I don't like going too crazy on two-teamers. Just really not my style. But I think it's just preference, wherever you're at on your bankroll management journey, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and what do you think of the plays, right? So, you think they're locks? Do you think you're like iffy on them? It's all on what you think about the plays as well. And then this is something that's really it'll come into baseball with strikeouts and certain things, but it really goes into basketball with points and so on and so forth. The ladder system on FanDuel, right? So I always put out ladder plays, and that's one of the big questions, and we'll get around to it. But so with the ladder, say I'm taking Devin Booker points, right? His point line is set at 20, and I'm going to ladder up to 30. So I'm going to put a unit on 30. This is me personally, and you can adjust it how you want. I'm going to put a unit on 30. I'm going to put 0.5 on 25, and I'm going to put 0.25 on 30. And that way, you're basically covering your base bet covers all your bets as you ladder up to get those higher odds overall. So does that make sense, Matt? You think I did a good job there?
Yeah, I think you
appreciate it, buddy.
It right.
Appreciate it. No, but yeah, that's basically how the ladder works. Just make sure you have enough on that base bet to cover your risk going up on the higher bets. But at the same time, don't put 5 units on the base. Well, do what you want, but don't put 5 units on the base one and then 3 and then 2, because then you're about to lose 10 units if it all goes to shit. He breaks his ankle in the first 2 minutes. So yeah. That was the gist of all the questions that we really got and we wanted to go over. Matt, are we missing anything? Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about as far as betting or what's in season right now?
No, I think we're good. I think we covered everything. If we missed anything else, we will gladly do another episode like this with more questions. So just in the comments, if you guys can comment what questions you guys have, or if you don't, if you're too nervous to be judged, DM us. Feel free to DM us because people are stupid on the internet. I get it. But yeah, I think we should go into the dick of the week.
I got it. I'll take over. Thank you. Dick of the week. It's me. My performance yesterday was trash. I am the dick of the week. I take full ownership. Look at me. I'm glorious. I'm hairy. I am your dick of the week. Thank you.
No, for real. Nick thinks he's dick of the week. I'm going to say it's Guillermo Heredia. I think it's up for discussion. Guillermo, for you guys who don't know who Guillermo Heredia is, he's a former Met, but he's on the Braves and was a late minute add to the lineup to play right field and took
Don't
away.
tell me that part. I didn't know that part.
Yeah, he took a Jeff McNeil home run away from the Mets in the 3rd or 4th inning, which would have cashed the Mets' first 5. It would have made me more happy as a Mets fan as a whole, and it was just brutal. It was a nice over the wall. He literally hopped on with one hand, caught it like this, and yeah, Guillermo Heredia, you're a dick.
Yeah. And Yeah. Yep.
So
Yep.
it's either Nick or him. I'm gonna pick him just because he's more of an asshole than a dick, but whatever.
I'm just, yeah. Whatever. Moving on.
Yeah,
Own it.
moving on to the NHL playoffs recap. For my hockey fans out there, interesting night last night. You had a lot of guys even up some series. Hurricanes still dominated. So Carolina got hurt. Another goalie hurt where Antti Ranta just got hurt. Now we're on their third string goalie. But good news for them. They're up 2-0 going to Boston. You know, as we all know, a playoff series really doesn't start until some away team wins in someone's house, because NHL actually home ice, home field, whatever you want to call it, I think matters the most out of any Big Four sport as of now, just because hockey fans are absolutely crazy, especially the ones in Canada. So Tampa Bay evened up this series in Toronto. That series is tied 1-1. That should be a great series with the defending champions going up against Austin Matthews. The Minnesota Wild responded back, beating the Blues 6-2 after getting shut out. So that series is now 1-1. And the Oilers responded back by winning 6-0 versus the Kings after losing. So now that series is 1-1, and that should be going to LA. So a lot of good hockey series, which I can't say the same about the NBA with all these blowouts. But these series should be good to go. We should have more plays coming in the playoffs now that I've seen a couple things. Playoff hockey is much different than regular hockey. It's just a lot more safe, a lot more physical, and you got to account for these things when you watch. So it's all about having momentum and getting hot at the right time, which fortunately for Nick, the Capitals are hot at the right time. They play again tonight. I don't think they steal both games in Florida, but they did what they had to do, and that was win one game in Florida. So even if they lose, job well done for the Capitals going back home. But if they win, all the better.
I think as an unbiased source, I can say Caps money line. Unbiased.
If you want to watch a good playoff hockey game and you haven't really been a hockey fan, watch the Rangers Penguins, just because that triple OT game, it's a deep rooted rivalry. Don't watch the Caps games. They're going to win 6-0, right, Nick? But the Rangers Penguins just went the triple overtime. The Rangers probably should have won. They took a goal away. Goalie. What?
They're gonna be so tired. They had like 70 shot attempts shots each, over 100 shot attempts, but 70 shots.
It was actually Shesterkin had 79 saves. Just a lot.
That's insane.
Yeah, so they're gonna be tired. They hate each other. The Rangers probably should have won because they scored. They called goalie interference, but I'm a Devils fan. I didn't think it was goalie interference, so I mean,
thought it was.
They're probably pissed off. It was close. I think you called it on the ice.
Dragged him out.
Yeah, he kind of got pushed and he tried to avoid him. It is what it is. If I'm the Rangers, I'm pissed. You have some great hockey tonight. We may have some more plays later on to put out, which I would be excited to put out for you guys because there's no basketball. And we got to watch something, right? You're not going to just sit down and watch a movie. You're going to watch, come on. You're going to watch something. We have some MLB games today as well. Nothing's really coming out really on the odds that I like. There's a lot of day games, and for the podcast, we don't like to put out the day games as much, just in case some processing and editing and stuff like that doesn't get out in time. I will put something out for you guys that I have. I don't want to not have a play for you guys, so I got to check the odds real quick if they're even up. If they're not up, we're gonna have to wait. They weren't up as of like an hour ago. But now that I've been blabbering on for so long, they may finally pop up. They are not up. I lied. So they're not up. I can't give you play. It's a basis play that we're going to put up. So
why don't you just give it the play and then just say as long as it's, minus 120 or better.
Actually, I got it on FanDuel.
Wow.
Minus 110. Pete Alonso bases. I don't normally like to touch this at all because he strikes out a lot, and I'm really not too crazy of a fan of his right now. I'm a Mets fan, but that being said, he absolutely destroys Aaron Nola, and that is who he should be playing on the mound. Aaron Nola throws stuff that he's seen over and over and over again. He's got 37 plate appearances, 34 at bats, which means he's been walked 3 times. But he's batting 353. He's 12 for 34, which is ridiculous. 3 doubles, 4 home runs. He's faced them twice already this season, has hit his bases twice already this season. Seeing a guy 3 times in about a month, you're going to know exactly what he's throwing at you. And he's had so much recent success. Career-wise, and the first 2 games, I would take this play -110 up to -120. I'm going to wait for DraftKings to put out a line or other books because FanDuel consistently gyps us on these bases lines. They're good for a bunch of other things, but as bases lines, I'm probably going to shop somewhere else. But that's going to be my play today. We'll have 1 or 2 more, but that's the one that stuck out to me this early on is Pete Alonso over 1.5 bases, -110.
Yeah, I'm going to take my time and really look at the slate today and not try to rush anything, wait on lineups, especially after performance yesterday. I should have some plays today. Taking it easy, though, full day for me overall. And that's why we kind of went into this betting terms and stuff like that. So first of all, it's a timeless episode. You can always listen to it and kind of understand something a little bit more. And yeah, and kind of just did some recaps. I had fun. Matt, always a pleasure. Anything else you want to add for today?
I think that's it. Let's have some fun. Let's kill the books today. And please like, share, follow our Twitter, personals for better or worse Twitter. We're almost at 3,000 followers on our for better or worse Twitter. Would like to get more subscribers on YouTube. Please comment, share with your friends, and look at us on Chalkboard.
Yeah, let us know as well if you have any questions or stuff you want to go over in the future. Obviously, this is more baseball centered because that's what's going on right now. But we'll have this throughout the year for every sport that starts. But yeah,
football.
Matt, again, always a pleasure. I appreciate it. See you guys tomorrow.
Best of luck on your bets. We'll be back here tomorrow.
All right. See ya.
Peace.